What's an important aspect of a good story? For me, good story always presents good conflict. But what we most remember are scenes like this.
Does he look like a bitch? What? Does he look like a bitch?
But what about scenes like this? In Story by Robert Mckee, he states, to achieve complexity, the writer brings his characters into conflict on all three levels of life, often simultaneously. These three levels are inner conflict, personal conflict, and extra-personal conflict. If we analyze this scene from The Dark Knight, we can observe the levels of conflict that create complexity from an otherwise simple scene. Before the scene begins, the story has already established that Bruce Wayne wants to solidify his trust in Harvey Dent, this being the main desire and turning point of the scene.
Well, I was raised here. I turned out okay.
We get a brisk reminder that we're dealing with a facade, the mask of billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne.
I'm talking about the kind of city that idolizes a masked vigilante.
We initiate the most important conversation, dealing with issues of Batman and justice. And with that, we have our first level of conflict. Bruce Wayne to Harvey
The
Dent.
city is proud of an ordinary citizen standing up for what's right.
Gotham needs heroes like you, elected officials, not a man who thinks he is above the law.
Exactly. Who appointed the Batman?
Interesting enough, the topic of Batman brings about conflict that is both on the surface and below the surface of what we see. On the surface, we get a much better grasp on Harvey Dent's values. This increases Bruce Wayne's trust of him.
Okay, fine. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Harvey Dent foreshadows his eventual arc. This creates more conflict for the audience than it does the characters. Like a ticking bomb the characters are oblivious to, that'll eventually affect everyone in its radius.
Look, whoever the Batman is, he doesn't want to do this for the rest of his life. How could he? Batman is looking for someone to take up his mantle.
This is Bruce Wayne's inner conflict, whether or not to give up the mantle, and the position of the Dark Knight. As his trust in Harvey Dent grows throughout the scene, his inner conflict begins to dissipate. It is clear they share similar views on justice, so maybe he can give up being the Dark Knight. Another level of conflict, both personal and subtle throughout the scene, is Bruce Wayne and Rachel's relationship. Though it takes no real effect in the conversation, it coats more tension over what we merely see. The more personal the conflict, the more consequential the scene will appear, and thus, the more engrossed we'll be as a viewer.
One fundraiser with my pals. You'll never need another cent.
And like that, the scene ends on a positive note. As we look back to the levels of conflict, we see personal conflict with Bruce to Harvey, extra personal from Bruce to Rachel, and inner conflict with Bruce to himself, or the Batman, as well as extra foreshadowing for the audience. So, when we watch great movies, maybe we should look below the surface of what we're really seeing. And maybe it's there where we'll find the goldmine of conflict. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment what you think below. And I'll see you next time.